Hello there, welcome back to Grun Dawn. I am Photius, and I am here to continue pushing forward with my Vitality caster. As we travel today, I expect we're going to fight I think it's pronounced the Loghorrean. It's the boss of the first section of content. I expect we'll get through him with not no issue, but, limited issues. And then we're going to push through some of the Mammoth expansion as well, see how far we get. So thanks again for joining us, and let's get started. So checking things here, I think last time I did raise resist a little bit. Chaos resist is still not quite where I want it. Now this would be somewhat fixable at this point, so I'm going to show you some components that you could use to fix this. There's one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to create these components, mainly because I don't think you'll have access to them at this point in the game. But just to give you some ideas, so what I usually do is in search bar, I'll type like chaos resist and look down at components. So we've got things like black tallow. Key thing about black tallow, it's amulets or metals, so I could put it in my amulet, for example, but this is going to take 3 rift stones. Those are easy enough to build. We can build them in here as well. We'll just search like rift, for example, and it'll bring up rift stones. Here, I'll give an example. Rift. There you go. There's your rift stones. I could just make them, right? They're going to cost some aether crystals as well. Other than that, there is back to chaos resist. There's one imbued silver. That's actually what I have in this weapon here. So that's like kind of a defensive aura. That gives you a chunk of chaos resist. That's the main thing that's kind of keeping us aloft right now. You also have the sanctified bone, which can go in the head or the chest. I've got nothing on my chest, so this would be like a pretty good option. I don't think this is available at this time, so I may have to check to see what's available. The main thing you're going to need to be able to access some of these, you're going to need better faction experience to be able to get a hold of some of these components. For now, I'm going to assume we don't have access to them, and I'm just going to go ahead and continue, because the resist I have, it's about 60% or so, is enough to get started. I'm running down here because it's going to go to the portal, but you can make your own portal and just hop through it. We're going to go back to the Tomb of the Watchers, or so the Rift Inner Necropolis that's nearby the Tomb of the Watchers. And we're going to head on through here. Now our goal is we got to destroy these blood wagons as we go. So this area you can just kind of make a circle around. I'll show you where totems can appear. I'll just point out the sections. The totem will be in one of these sections here. This is another area that's not too hard to search, and if you've got the whole map revealed, you can typically narrow down where the totem is likely to be. So let's see here. Clear all these guys out. So I'm just trekking along through these guys now. Now they're dropping their books or codex items. So the totem can appear back here, right by this statue. So it's not there, so we'll continue on. Additionally, it can appear right in here. So right by this like tree back here. Another thing, if we come down in this little nook, there's another Necropolis page here if you want to read some of the lore. I'll just use it for the experience. The totem can appear over here. I think this particular totem has 5 different spots it can appear. I don't think it's 2 totems. I think it's just this one has a grouping of 5, or I could be mistaken about that. Check Grim Tools to be sure, but that's just my experience on it. So we're just clearing out these big boys here. We're heading down to this blood wagon that's down here. We could just hop right on that. That's one real strong point about the leap. We can just hop down there. We'll go ahead and cut under here. Sometimes there's just some enemies fighting the guards, which we went on the wrong side, so we'll hop over and help them. There we go. Everyone's safe now. The totem can appear up this way. Now we gotta search for the blood wagons anyway, so no harm checking the location. See, it's up here now. You can see it on the mini map there. But again, you can narrow it down pretty good. There also tends to be, in this zone, one of these golden chests. These can sometimes drop better things, like for example, I got the shell shock epaulettes there. Those don't help me much. I'll just pick them up. Let's see. We got another item that gives to bone harvest. Lots of items do. You're looking for that soul warding, not prefix but suffix. The suffix of soul warding there. Then we're going to go ahead and do this. Oop, missed it. Clear through these guys. Got stake thrower, that's not helpful to us. That is not a bad little crossbow though, if you're looking for a crossbow. Crossbows and guns are interchangeable in the game, they're just two-handed range. So these pants have a bunch of bleeding and pierce resist and a good bit of armor. That could come in handy for allowing us to swap things. So we're going to hold on to Leg Plates of Valor for now. We found these like 4 different times. We're going to sell them this time around. But these would be good if... So our piercing is good, our bleeding's good, so they're not super helpful right now. But if we decide to swap out some gear, for example, these shoulders, they give a good bit of pierce and bleeding. Otherwise, they just give elemental. So these might be good if we can find a shoulders that has... What are we missing? Aether, maybe? And... like has a good bit of Aether and Elemental, it might be worthwhile to switch into these. So we're just going to hold on to them for now. So those shoulders have Aether, but no Elemental. How's our Elemental looking? Our Elemental's really high. Okay, maybe we have an option here. Because we could combine this with the pants. And I think we overall come out ahead by 3% on Elemental. We are going to lose all... No, 3% on Aether, but we're going to lose all the Elemental, which is 16 plus that, so 34. Yeah, 34. Can we sacrifice 34? We can. Be a little narrow, but we can get more Aether resist that way. Alright, we got to be 500 physique, so let's spend some points. You know what? Let's get this done. Those armor bonuses are really good on that. I don't mean, when I say armor bonus, I just mean it's regular armor. So we're going to hop to Devil's Crossing, because we're going to have to take that component off our pants. We don't necessarily have to. We could just trade it out otherwise. But I'm going to go ahead and swap, because I like the physical resist on these as well. And this, those pants, they were giving me some physique, so I got to get more points in physique. So this is another thing to be careful about. Pop this on. Alright, so that gave us more defensive ability, which is nice. And now we have more overall armor. And our bleed and pierce weren't affected very much by that, even though we had a silk swatch there. We're going to hold that. We are going to get the scaled hide back. And we have now 78 Aether resist. Pop that back on the pants. So our armor absorption, you probably want to try to get more to 100%. I'm okay with it being 84%. It basically means 84% of these numbers is what's actually prevented. 100% would be like everything from the numbers is prevented. So it would give me more defense. So that's just a consideration. These shoulders are open. I don't know if there's anything we could put on shoulders that would make a big difference here. Probably not. We're just going to double check.
Hey, got any more scrap metal?
Let's see. Resilient plating would be nice if we need to pierce. We really don't. We could go ahead and do another scaled hide. I think I will. Let's combine that.
Any blueprints you find.
Scaled hide on here. So the scaled hide gets us to 98% absorption, so nearly all of it. So we've got a lot more protection now. We also have a higher level bone harvest. So these skills, as you can see, I've only got 4 points in bone harvest. I got 10 added from everything else. You can get more than 10 added to the skill and go up, but the skill can't go past 10 over its maximum. So this skill could go up to 26 and be fine. Now this is going to cost a lot more energy, but that punch is real nice and is showing 30,000 DPS once the buff's active. So very good. So we'll take that damage boost. That could be helpful, and also the additional armor is going to be helpful. Aether resist is nice, but it doesn't do us a, it's not doing a lot for us right now because we're going to see more chaos resist. So we just got to consider how that might come out in play. So I killed another blood dragon without paying attention. That's very much going to happen if you're just especially if you're playing this, just because the AoE is so big. But you may want to just kind of keep in mind where the blood dragons are. But check this. It's going to tell you where to look. This section over here, there a totem can appear right where that body was, actually. I'm going to skip the tower shield. Okay, so there's a western... That was the northern blood wagon. So there's a western one, so it might be somewhere in here. So keep an eye out. This whole area is a big circle, so it kind of circles back. There it is. These big guys like to protect it. Notable thing about these big guys, if you're playing Force Wave, they have an amazing weapon for that. That probably a low level one will carry you through most of the game because it's so good for it. But you can always get a better one in higher difficulties, and you likely will, because they like to roll a bunch of physical damage, so it's real good for that. Alright, so we cleared that out, and Loghorrean now wants us to go to the center here, because we gotta stop the summoning of the Loghorrean. There is one devotion shrine down here. We're gonna pick that up as we go through. And here we go. Loghorrean. Yeah, that sounds... Yeah. Oh, the big guy resistant to vitality here. There we go. I dropped his defense just enough that I can do reusable damage. And our energy's holding up. And this is a great example of one that's a good one. Now, alacrity is not what you want on this. Like, Force Wave is actually a cast. So this has a bunch of damage added. And if it had that on cast speed instead of attack speed, you might have something like 16 to 20% casting speed, which is going to help a Force Wave go much faster and be spammable and powerful, like this is. Force Wave is probably, let's be honest with ourselves, it's probably better than this. This guy does not like that attack. It's probably better than Bone Harvest, to be honest. But Bone Harvest has a couple other things that come with it. Just being like Necromancer is kind of huge for it, just because you have all the lifesteal, you've got the Vitality aura and stuff. So, but Force Wave's really good. Don't doubt. There's a reason it's used as a leveling skill for a lot of soldier-based builds. So the reason they walked away was I'm dropping a bunch of confusion on these guys. They do not care for that. Just eating through waves of dudes like that is just really great. So much fun. I'm just hitting chests mostly for money. There are little sections, I think I walked by one. There are little sections in the walls in a couple of these rooms. Oh, this is actually one that have little chests inside. It's weird, that little 8% reduction is just enough to get them available here. So there was rocks in there. My Bone Harvest probably hit it and knocked it open. But you've got the scepter and such. So I've still been thinking about what build to do after this one's done. I'm not totally decided yet. I am probably, just because of encouragement from another viewer, I'm probably going to post a run of Shattered Realms from one of my favorite characters to play, which I think is a super interesting build. It is Warcry, but it's Bleed Warcry. I've probably mentioned it before because I just love it. But that build does really good in SR for the most part. I've only really pushed it to like 30 or so because it's not very optimized. I get this thing where I have altitis where I play something and I'm like, this is really cool, super fun. Let's do a different build because I get inspired by something else. So it's a bit of a problem, but I've gotten several builds to 100. fun one might be Obsidian Juggernaut, mainly because that plays pretty straightforward, and you're looking for some particular sets with it. But it is it's good, and it's not hard to find an Obsidian Juggernaut. You can get lucky looking for it. There's a little loose torch here. If we hit that, it'll open this wall. I can let you get this chest inside. Sometimes there's another chest in here. Burning Purifier doesn't do anything for us. These pants, kind of mid, so we're going to skip over those. Now, you don't have to hit and grab every little chest. You'll get enough in the game. I'm just, because this character, we're kind of doing it as a self-bound character primarily, I am going to open things and get what I can. Becomes a little easier as you go. Don't forget to drop resistance reduction on these guys. We're still building that up. It will get there. It will get there. But you're going to need it for vitality. That's why there's a good bit in the build. Vitality, I believe, is the most resisted element. So pretty much everything is going to resist vitality to some extent. So and it doesn't have high damage numbers, but it's consistent. And if you can consistently drop the resist, it'll do consistent damage. And it tends to have a lot of life leech with it, so it tends to be safer. Overall, the door has opened. Indeed it has. Alright. Got that book. Head on down. Now we're one area away. Nothing too crazy here. I will see if my strategy of getting through this area works. This area is a bit maze-like. Oh, that guy does not like Bone Harvest. These guys get confused by it, which is nice, but they don't take much damage. Alright. So you gotta remember those guys are resistant to it. Okay. It's chaos, but has cold things on it. Bloodsport investments. They've got a good Aether resist, but that's it. Our armor has a lot of chaos resist, though. We can't sacrifice that yet. That's gonna be part of the problem. We gotta find ways to get around that resist. We will find some ways. We'll give some suggestions, but we'll try to do ones that can be done as you go. So you're going to find some recipes and stuff. That'll help you get other components. If you come across a recipe for a component that I've brought up, and you say, hey, this is one he didn't use, but I could use it, then do use it. You want those resistance out as much as you can. So my strategy here, generally speaking, is I want to head toward the back wall. And when I mean back wall, I mean back here. So I can't go any further, right? And now we're going to head up, but we have to be careful because there is one section that does not go through. And I believe it is along the wall here. So let's avoid the wall now. Go back up through the middle. So there's a totem on the other side. I did not see until just now. We're going to jump around for that totem. This is perfectly fine. You see a totem, go grab it. They are very good for drops, even though I've not gotten much from them. They seem like they're not good for drops, but they are. They are. Okay, we're going to do this. Clear the room first. Make sure it's all set. Okay, you weren't there a second ago. Neither were you. Where'd you come from? Alright. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Alright. This guy does not like vitality. He's cleared out. I noticed our energy is taking bigger hits. I'm not paying as much attention to it because it was okay, but now it's not. This is all stuff we've seen before. The inscribed bracers are really nice for an elemental build. Just getting elementals seal when you hit is huge. It kind of helps a lot with damage. Nothing there. Good. Onward. If you got a doorway, you can kind of jump through the wall. You basically have to make sure your character can make it to that zone with a normal attack. So I ran into a dead end because I hugged the wall. I tried to tell you not to do that, but I hugged the side wall and I ran into a dead end because I told you that would happen. Getting the totem was okay. I should have come back toward the middle. So keep that in mind for yourself. Just tear through these guys. One thing I like about having the skill like non-cooldown is you can be pretty mobile, and you can fire it wherever you get a chance. You can do that with cooldown skills too. You can drop a shot. I noticed playing Grenado which is a demolitionist skill. The problem was with cooldown skills, if you miss, you get basically a shot, and if you don't take it, you are killing your DPS quite a bit. Whereas this, I may be moving around and not able to just sit and cast, but I do get to cast wherever I want, so I've got a little bit more versatility and can keep more consistent DPS probably. But I guess if you don't miss with the cooldown skill, you're always going to do really good damage. But being able to fire, was this 1, 2, like about 2 a second, it seems like. Actually, I think you can check that. Here, let's see. Magical, cast speed's 131. I thought you could check how often you could fire it. This gives me a good idea. So it's got 16 there. So yeah, it's about 2 a second. That's considering I'm fired. Like a little more than that. I did get a level, we'll be fine. We're just gonna get rid of this guy. He is a little hurt by this. Just keep him debuffed. Get your potions. Get your energy up. Alright, he's done for. Dropped a Willie's Razor, which I have never had much of a use for. And this thing, so this is a cool item. It's one of the few items that gives a meter target area to RF Censure. RF Censure is like an AoE from the Inquisitor that is always doing damage. So this can be a path to like a AoE build that's like auto damage. I can't say I recommend those builds just because while they have consistent damage all the time and can do some nice things, they also don't do that much damage. Now, I made a mistake. I should have used my level before I came in here because I could have got more defense or reduce more resist, things like that. So we're gonna. So another thing with this particular skill, I'm talking for a second, Mark of Torment, is on bosses, if you're going to be standing here casting them, and I am burning energy quick, you have to back off, slow down. These guys go down fast. But I'm getting through them, I'm doing plenty of damage. But we got to recharge our energy. When you're like sundered or something, you can put Mark of Torment on an enemy, so that while they're doing more damage to you, they're doing more damage to themselves as well. It is a kind of soft counter to it. You're still going to take more damage though, so ideally you want to avoid getting sundered where possible. Loghorrean does not like this. I'm going to put this back on him, reduces the resists. And potions. Yep, so that low energy regen is starting to kind of get back at us. So on a longer boss fight, it's bad, but this is actually going super well. Like, there's nothing wrong with this particular boss fight. We could probably finish him before we run out of energy. There we go. He's all done. So yeah, that's the one of the harder boss fights in the normal thing, but it's really not that bad. There are harder ones, but see, at this point, me being experienced with the game and having a whole bunch of stuff unlocked, I could feel free to jump to ultimate difficulty at this point, and I'd probably do fine, especially if I used everything at my disposal. I like the look of this item. I'm going to pick it up, but I may not use it for a while. Nothing there. Oh, forgot about Loghorrean's Corruption. Let's see. This doesn't give anything to us, but it has some resists. I'll pick it up. I don't think it's going to work. This, unfortunately, has a bunch of fire and cold, which doesn't do a lot of good. I'll pick it up because it's a ring. And we got this hat. The lightning, poison, bleeding's good, but I can't replace my helmet. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. Alright, let me look at this armor again. So we got the Dark Flame chest guard, right? So it's got Spirit Ward. So if I get hit 30% of the time, I'm going to get more physical resist, vitality resist, and max vitality resist. That's pretty good, especially as a kind of soft counter to reflection. It also can convert any fire damage I get to vitality. It can be useful. I don't know if I'm adding any fire damage. Problem is this gives only elemental resist, 35 of it, which is really big, but I'm getting pierce and chaos resist, and I gotta keep those. But this might be something we can use. It's a good armor. There's nothing problematic about it, no issue. Alright, we're going to jump out through the portal. Now, when we go back to Creed, he is going to give us... I think at this point he gives you like a level 50 legendary. And I know I often will get... what is it? I think it's called Dark Omen. Which is not going to be useful. But yeah, any weapons are kind of like no-go. Armor might be okay, because legendary is going to be strong. Okay, Nightblade, we are going to go ahead and max out Night's Chill. Go back here. Oh, I did that wrong. Can I change it? Yep. Did it wrong. Sorry. We're still heading for Harbinger of Souls, and we're very close. So 1, 2. We got a point. That is going to go in for Nightblade skill. Reduce resists.
You've returned. So our great moment of triumph is soured with tragedy.
Acid and poison.
Excellent.
If you're doing acid and poison. I'm not, so kind of useless to me.
Proving that we are not
going. How can I help? We're going to skip the cinematic. And now we're going to help the people of Mammoth.
To admit this. You see, the Luminari have long been aware of the Covenant.
And we want to do this. Mammoth expansion has a lot of good stuff.
My father and I were part of a...
Especially from maxing out the faction resist, which is not going to be possible in the first run through, but it gets us started. Now I'm going to head back to Devil's Crossing. I think I'm going to clean some stuff out. As you can see, Devil's Crossing's been changed. They killed a big guy here, and everyone is kind of still alive. Not Sedina, though. She got killed. Sell those. I'm not going to use those. Nah, not going to use it. Venom Lash. Don't need it. Nope, not going to use it. Gotta keep Frying Pan, though. I think this is my last armor I had, and the defense hasn't really changed. I'm keeping Perdition set, just, you know, if you're collecting a set, that's a good one to collect. Is this useful? No. These gloves require 48. Was I waiting on this? They give a good bit of Aether resist. I think that's why. Because I could afford the loss of piercing resist. Yeah, but I gotta be 2 more levels. And this has a little component on it. I think the other stuff was, you know, just cuz. Alright. Let's see if we can reorganize this a little. That looks better. Anything else we can sell? Maybe? Oh yeah, these shoulders had been harvested on just 2. And they have 15. They're pretty good. Their defense is a little low. And these gloves. Poison Acid, Chaos. I could use these. What was I waiting on? I don't see any reason to wait on these. I guess I lose health and stuff. Okay. I kind of saw the reason to wait. Alright. We're good here. Oh, I forgot about the devotion point. We must have had 2 since last time. So we're going to get Raise the Dead, which is helpful, but we got to find out what to put it on. I think I'm going to pop it on Omen, even though that does twin things. We're going to give him some Skelly Boys, which are capable of reducing target resistances. This particular one, you see there, it says in their melee attack, right at the bottom, 5 reduced target resistances for 1 second. So that will take down the resists by 5. The R I have here is a negative to the resist, so that does subtract from it by 23 and does stack with what the skeletons do. And this one, which is a negative, also stacks with the other negatives, so it's going to reduce it more. Eventually, we are going to get Rotosh down here. This will also reduce vitality resistances, and that's what we want. Like, if we can get 70 or 80 vitality resist reduced, that'll just help a ton to help us keep consistent damage, and occasionally do more damage to enemies, because if you put them in negative resist range, that's good, because you're going to output more damage. Our components and items look pretty good. At this point, possibly look at upgrading from Gluttony, but Gluttony is pretty good. The Bone Wave attack is nice because this is a heal that'll help out. But to go on with the Forgotten Gods expansion, start at Warden's Cellar. And this puts you in the Warden's house. Now we're gonna try not to fight enemies because these guys are still level 20. Yeah, 19, 20, stuff like that. So we're gonna hop up here, bust the door. Oop, I dashed into a wall. Alright, once you get a new skill, get out. Bust the door open, and just walk out of here. We're not doing anything here. We don't need any of this stuff. These guys can really do nothing to us now. Feel free to wipe out a wave of them if you want to feel real powerful. But, I mean, you're just a bully at this point. There's a rock in the way, so we gotta go around. Bust the door open. And out through here. Now, you might be able to go up the road. Sometimes there's blockage. Not this time. If there's blockage, you'll be able to come around through this path, which has all these bugs here. You can walk on the bridge and either go through this house or come down around under the bridge. Both work. They're both fine. So we're going to purge the barrier. Now a dude's going to spawn. Oh no, it's so terrible. This is not meant to be a hard boss. He's just a gatekeeper, more or less. Alright, you dropped a war mace. We're going to hop past those buddies. The leap does do damage, and I do get pretty decent hit damage. So it uses the attack damage. And just some eyes there. Now, you can go through the house. These guys are scaled to your level for the most part. I think they might have a max scaling. I know they have a minimum too. I think their minimum is like 40. But they're not bad. So we clear through there. And killing these crystals is good because you'll get Aether crystals from them. You do need those. You will be able to farm more in this expansion. You cannot really go back to prior areas to farm them because you're going to start outscaling them. When you outscale the prior areas, that's an issue because they're just simply not going to drop things for you anymore. It's to keep you from doing easy content and getting easy components and resources. Just keep going up the road. Now this is an area that if you are not sure where to go, because it's a little easy to get lost, there are interesting things, but there's also a road you can follow. I think, for the moment, we're going to follow the road. These rovers here have a camp. You can talk to them, chat with them a bit. They've got a shop. I don't think they sell anything real interesting in the shop. No, just some greens and such. I'll check. Gloves, armor, pants. Decent pants. I gotta give them that. Those are decent pants. Let me look at those again. Poison, chaos. So I lose bleeding. And lose a bunch of pierce. 24 pierce. So big negatives on those, but we did have the silk swatch we weren't using for anything. That's tempting. A little tempting. They're only level 30 though. Let's go with what we have. We're not going to see chaos for a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to stick to follow the road just to show you. These guys get in the way. I know they're big and they take a little bit to kill. They can drop items called Ugden blooms. These things, you will want those. These plants especially drop them often. Some of these plants will come back to life, like that one there. It's only the ones that are like closed, like a bud. And when they get killed, they can sometimes grow. The rate seems to be about 50% of the time. It's pretty often you'll have two next to each other and one will always grow back. It feels limited somehow, so they're not like, if you get a pack of them, they're not all grown back. Maybe out of a pack, 2 or 3 will grow back. So these are some boots that have Aether, Chaos, Slow Resist. Slow Resist is a good one. And a bunch of other things. And they're about the same level as my boots, and they don't have Bone Harvest, but that's okay. I think I could sacrifice a little bit to Bone Harvest right now. Because while it does good damage, and we like damage, it also isn't helpful if we're looking to keep our energy intact, which we seem to be having some issues with that now. So we don't want to raise it too fast. Okay. I'm going to go hit this totem over here. It's a little off the road. Bunch of plants in the way. Kill through them. The ones that are just like already viney, they're not going to come back. This guy's probably going to come back. There he is. See? Yeah, like usually when they're like by themselves, they often come back. Like this guy will probably come back. There he is. He even came back as a mini boss. Very nice, very nice. And he dropped a new dim blue for us. We got any others? Nope, just that one. And these guys give experience for the Coven and also for Homestead because they're mostly animals. That's good. Loghorrean, I don't think that's useful. Cerulean Shard is an amulet, has no resist for us. Again, resists are kind of king right now. Anything I can get to help is good. Continue through. So it's one of those things. I actually came back up on the road here. So it's one of those things I feel like I should be saying, like, well, for anyone who hasn't been tuned in, here's what we're doing, but, you know, it's YouTube. Alright, what's this? Oh, we need to get him. He is the one of the girls the girl we talked to right next to Creed back there. She's hanging out in Devil's Crossing now, but this is her dad. See, these can turn into creatures. If you have a ranged attack, you'll just automatically start shooting at them. If you go up and touch them, it's a little different. Alright, and I can get you out of here. Show him the gate. Out he goes. Don't need to talk to him much. He doesn't... Unfortunately, he doesn't really offer much of anything that matters. You do get decent items from the quest, so it's worth doing the quest, but... he's not terribly helpful. Alright, we're going to see these guys a lot. This is a great pack of enemies to have Bone Harvest deal with, because it just runs them over. It's just a truck. And though I rode them. Alright, clear through there. You see how this point came back? This one probably won't. Oh, he did come back. Alright, so like I said, it's kind of a coin flip how often they come back. Now I'm off the road again. I should get back on it. But there was something else I was wanting to do. See, of that one, only one came back. So. And then you have these little areas under here we can go into. There are some little mini bosses down there and other like troves to find. They can be good, especially if you're looking for items from these enemies. And you want to have a little bit more guarantee of finding what you want. There's a lot of little guns and pistols that they have. Some have daggers that are really good for spell casting or even just shooting. The Wendigos here, which is the big guys with the horns, they'll drop these things, which have some special properties, make them pretty good because they convert vitality and physical into acid. So if I wanted to turn, something like Bone Harvest into acid, this might help me do it. I don't think that's what I would go for, but that's just an option. Then you got the venom launchers here. This goes really well with an amulet. You can get back in the first area to turn elemental and aether into acid. So real good for that. There's also an armor that helps there too. I'm off the beaten path because I'm going for this devotion shrine over here. Still want to fill those out. And I think I know what we're going with for the next devotion. I need to get some points back, but we'll come around to that. Alright, got that. Those are good to check for booms, because it can sometimes be an enemy, but not always. Okay, flamethrower, I don't think this is like actually a flamethrower, it's just like a gun, but it can give some boost to Grenado, Guardians of Empyrean, things like that. So it can be useful. It's a fight shrine. I remember this being not a difficult one, but there's a lot of big enemies at it. we are just cutting them down. And they dropped a few blue items for us.
That skill's not ready.
So the constant firing is like getting my energy just torn up. So I can afford less cast speed, for example, or more damage might be helpful. This ring is good for bleeding, not really good for us. Not great. Change the Anguish. I don't recommend taking Change the Anguish unless you really know what you're doing. Because these give you tons of damage, but the problem with tons of damage and lifesteal, but the problem with them is if you take a hit, you are very likely to turn on the Anguish debuff, which is just going to kill everything you do for a few seconds. So it's like 6 seconds of everything sucks, but then it fixes itself. So for devotions now, we spent a point here to get Raise the Dead, which is on Ill Omen, so I haven't really used that yet, but that's fine. We are going to start getting this guy here, Owl, mainly because it's got a reduction to skill cost, which is going to be helpful. So we'll put a purple point here. I'm going to take these two out in a bit. But we pop one here, and then we're going to take this. Now you could also, if you feel like you need more resist, you can go Empty Throne instead. You just want any that give you 5. This one's less useful. It's more of a damaging one. The piercing is not so bad, but the other like effects aren't the best. They're not the worst, but like this point, it does nothing for you. You get nothing from that. But you do get the energy regen, which is nice. You do get the flat piercing and crit damage, and you do get the offensive and bleeding resist. It's alright. I like this for the stats. This gives damage over time. This gives all damage and reduces reflected damage as well, which I really like. So that's the reason I'm getting that. And I can trade some of my points once I get to the Coven's place. So I'll just wait till I get there so we can continue on. I actually don't know how long the video has been running. I've not been tracking as well as I should. So I'm just going to keep an eye out. That's a dagger that does some Aether Lightning. And always scarred. Okay. Onward. So we're going back now. Because the way we were going along the road is the correct path. But we gotta stop by the Den of Caraxes. The Caraxes the Foul. That's who we're going after. You want to do Caraxes before you go to the Coven, ideally. Because you're going to go to the Coven anyway, you might as well bring what they need. First try. But if you don't end up going, like for example, you have trouble finding it or something, and you walk right past, and want to go and just want to stop at the Coven and get the point. If you're to the Coven, you might as well get the Rift Gate and then come back. Now here, you hug the left side. That's all you do. So we're gonna go up. Now left side's gonna become like up instead of left. And we're just gonna stay close to the left-hand wall. There are some little nooks that you can explore for more enemies or more rewards if you want. That was a little patch that had an Ugin Bloom in it. We continue on, see how it became up, but now it's going to cut back left. There's usually some Wendigos hanging here, not today. We had some other things going on. We had prior engagements. We head up here and deal with the Moss Flingers. They drop Ugin Blooms, so they're fine to kill. It is worthwhile, worth your time. We got 8 of those. That's the point you can start doing something with them. We're going to head into the Den of Caraxes. This place works like a loop too, where you can get back to the front pretty quick. So we're just going to explore the whole thing. You can go up or down, doesn't matter. I like to go down and cut through straight. Through here. A bunch of these guys, and you get the ghost crabs behind you. They're fine too. As you can see, they got dealt with. Dropped a mediator, which is magma orb gun. I think we've seen that before. If you get 2 of those, then you got double going on. Just here. More of these crabs are gonna pop up. You're gonna see crabs everywhere. You know, the most advanced life forms are right here in the Cave of Caraxes. Don't forget, you want scrap and gems. Clear these guys out where possible. Caraxes keep flying in right behind them. But we don't really want to fight all of them and him. He seems to have problems with resist for vitality, so we're going to just cut him open. Like the level. Actually, didn't know he was weak to vitality, but there we go. Cut straight through him. He dropped these these girdles and belts that you'll find down here, usually from the crabs, are quite good, and they usually give $1 skills, but they might give a weird conversion, so keep an eye. Acid to physical is kind of a weird one. Alright, so assault handguards protection, not celerity, not celerity. Alright. Just get excited and say things a little fast. Clear, clear, clear. And I missed the level, so let's do the level. Lovely. Thank you. Alright, level. We can finally get Harbinger Souls, so we're going to get that. Now that gives us cast speed, so we need to be a little careful, but this gives a lot more damage to us. And you can't tell yet, but we're gonna see. Hopefully I find something to hit. Anything will work? Yeah, so up to 33,000 DPS now. We're not into level 50 yet, so that's really good. But you see how that brought us right back to the beginning here? Good. Now you can kind of continue hugging the left side. You want to do this to a point. Right here, a bunch of enemies can attack you. That is very typical. So get the chest if you want. It's just a little event where they try to teach you, hey, enemies can pop out of these things and attack you. Be careful. Alright. Handguard's Dark Intent. Nice cast speed, nothing else though. And the flamethrower has a replicating missile. That's an interesting one because the elemental and fire do kind of stack together for the damage. Did I miss something? Oh no. It's like still got the star back there, but it wants me to bring the heart. So here's the Heart of Caraxes, so we're good. We continue on. Past this house here. You guys will come up. If you want to explore the house, you can. I think there's a little note in there. Now this way, you're going to think, hey, this is where I should go. This is where I should go to get where I need to go. No, it's not. It's a dead end. You can sneak in here, though, and there's a chest here. So, not the absolute worst, just an option. But you want to continue through here. Kind of hug the top at this point. Just going through Wendigos, which I thought would be more resistant. They are not very resistant to vitality. Maybe late game they are. They tend to do like lots of lifesteal and vitality. But as I said, a lot of things have vitality resist. I don't know if it's high or if it's just like it's consistent that a lot of things have vitality resist. Additionally, I have a pretty good amount of vitality resist reduction now. So we're going to go around. Get through here. And we are at the Coven. So we're going to start the Coven quest up. Get some of this stuff out of our inventory.
Whatever it is you think interesting. If you see Ulgrim, what you ask, I care.
They want us to go to Barrel Home now. There'll be a couple things we do on the way to Barrel Home. Talk to this person. I am going to go ahead and trade back these 2 points because this guy right here, Revenant, he gave me 1 red and 1 blue. And that's enough to trade those back.
Farewell.
So we got a red and blue back. Come back down. This is big. It's going to reduce our skill energy cost by 5%. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it does help. And either of these are good at this point. Because what we're ultimately going for is unlocking Chariot of the Dead, which in 2 points we'll have it unlocked. And we want to finish all of this, and then we can sell back this. Because they give the same things, 2 red, 3 green, 2 red, 3 green. And we're not really using this anymore. I don't really have much I can put it on. Leap, maybe. I'll put it on Leap. I don't think it's going to be very useful. We're going to go ahead and take this point, just for the little bit of extra damage. We're done with talking to these people. Now, there's other books and stuff to get in here. Like, for example, I can come back here to this chest, steal someone's diary, read that. jumped into a wall. You also come over here. This person gives you a quest later. I don't know if it's just in Ultimate, but I know Ultimate's where you get the reward. But this is all like lore to explain what they're doing here. Again, please go through the game yourself and carefully read the lore notes. It is presented very well, and it all starts to kind of jive together and make more sense as you go. Alright. I'm kind of got the hunch that I should stop here for now. And we might just pick up here for next time. So thank you for joining us. Our next excursion is going to be exploring Ugdenbog and going to various locations within it. Try to get everything in one shot as we go. As we head up to Barrelholm, we might do Barrelholm as well. If we do, we may stop before we head onward to save Ulgrim. So thank you so much for your time, for watching the video. I hope you have a great day and take care.